These are the funniest conversations in Joe Rogan history, so who better to start with than the legend Theo Von, who had Joe Rogan in stitches whilst talking about hats.
The worst is if you're jerking off with a hat on, bro. You're going to hell, I think.
Fedora.
Yeah, that's the worst, bro. That's the most French thing you can do.
Jacking off with them straw Kentucky Derby hats.
Yeah, what's the worst hat to jack off?
The worst hat to jack
Probably
off.
a top hat, because you have to balance yourself while you're jerking off. Yeah.
One of them chimney sweep hats.
Yeah, the best would be one of those Chinese hats, bro, because if you squat down low enough to the ground, you can almost hide under it and jerk off, you know? Those things would be dope, bro.
The most confusing would be like one of them Daniel Boone raccoon caps.
Yeah, but that
You
would...
got that tail in your eye. You push you're blowing the tail's in the way.
Theo and Joe's deeply introspective discussion was certainly life-changing. However, it had nothing on the story that Joey Diaz told about the time he farted on the bus.
And on the way home, we got on the bus, and while we were waiting there, my stomach started hurting. Well, let me just take a chance.
Good move.
And I blew this fart, Joe Rogan. That was so bad. Right? We were on a bus, and people started running, you know, the school buses? People started running to the windows, right? To swing down the bus windows. But here's what gets better. I farted again. And the teachers were going, oh my God, he's changing flavors. But the worst thing was, the cheerleaders were crying. That's how bad it smelled. They were sitting in front of the bus going,
Wait a minute, he's changing flavor.
One of the teachers yelled out, oh my God, he's changing flavors. That's how bad these farts were.
That's your next t-shirt.
The
Oh my
whole-
God, he's changing flavors.
The whole bus stunk.
However, it was Elon Musk who showed that sometimes the funniest moments can come from the most serious questions.
We should do a flamethrower.
Does anybody tell you no? Does anybody go, Elon, maybe for yourself, but selling a flamethrower, the liabilities, all the people you're selling this device to, what kind of unhinged people are going to be buying a flamethrower in the first place? Do we really want to connect ourselves to all these potential arsonists?
Yeah, it's a terrible idea. Terrible. Shouldn't buy one. I said don't buy this flamethrower. Don't buy it. Don't buy it. That's what I said. But still, people bought it.
Yeah,
There's
they're not gonna
nothing I
listen.
can do to stop them.
If you
I
build
could
it,
not
they will
stop
come.
them. I said don't buy it. It's a bad idea.
How many did you make?
20,000
And they're all gone.
in 4 days.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, Theo Von was able to show that funny moments can also come from the stupidest conversations.
It's like if a plane crashed, I already know I'm planning ahead, dude. I'd eat a Vietnamese guy.
Why?
I mean, I did a fast for like 4 days, and then I was at the Best Buy, and I remember this Vietnamese guy was trying to help me out, and I couldn't even hear him. I was so hungry. And I couldn't. And I remember thinking, if everybody turned the other way for a second, I could eat this young fella. You know, Ben. His name was Ben, actually. Over there in Westwood. But I'd never thought...
Oh my God, it's so ridiculous.
Well, I mean, I think if you gum down a Viet, people aren't going to be that upset at you.
Well, the
you know?
Vietnamese people are going to be super upset. What are you talking about?
No, they're
Somebody's
okay.
dad.
Yeah, they're more understanding of things, dude.
Is this a character you're playing?
No. But if you eat a black lady and her family's there, they're going to be pissed.
So you think a Vietnamese person would let you slide?
I think that they'd be much more forgiving over a couple of day period.
Vietnam is one of the few places where Americans can go back to Vietnam and they don't seem to hold any grudge at all.
Exhibit A. Exhibit A, man, honestly.
Theo's style of comedy seems to work perfectly in a podcast setting, so much that we could probably dedicate an entire video to his legendary one-liners.
It's like when you put a condom on and then the other person's just still looking at their phone. You're like, oh, this is weird. Yeah, man, I never wanted to be a fish, man, my whole life. I didn't. Yeah, I wish there was more ways to sleep. Yeah, a lot of people don't want to think anymore, man. But I wonder if people ever wanted to think, you know? This is probably the smartest conversation I've been involved in maybe months. Well, it's that time of year. It's spring. People are refreshed.
It's not spring. It's the middle of the winter.
Yeah.
It's freezing cold out. It's just January.
Whatever. You guys aren't open-minded. That's what I think, bro. If you're wearing a wig, I don't think you're running anymore, though. I think some things you got to let go.
However, as was shown in this episode with Andrew Schulz, sometimes it's Joe who comes out with the best one-liners.
Yo, so many women are like judging us on our first nuts.
Yeah,
It's
come
like,
on.
what do you?
Listen, back in the day, you had to come quick because a leopard might eat you.
Why did I learn this excuse at 38? Babe, there's leopards around.
Built in.
That's true.
It's built into the human.
But if we want to go back to hilarious stories, then it's almost impossible to go past Joey Diaz talking about the time his friend made French fries.
He decided to make French fries. So he put the pot out. Those pots, you could bring it home with the hot oil, and they would boil, and you could throw French fries. America went crazy over it. Well, he did heroin and knotted up. The thing went on fire. I wake up to ba-boom, and alarms, and all of a sudden Kurt's waking me up, and we go out of the house, and the father's outside, and the grandmother, and fire trucks are coming from the side laying water, and they got the sirens. In the middle of all this, it's 8 in the morning, and we all look around and go, oh my God, Emil's still in the house. Bonehead was still in the house on fire. Bro, they turn the fire off, they go in. He's still with his feet up, with his hands crossed,
Just heroin out of his
watching TV like that.
He slept through the fire?
Oh my God, everything. When they woke him up, he goes, are my fries ready? This is how crazy this family was. Are my fries ready?
Are my
They're like
fries
Bonehead.
ready?
However, Joey Diaz isn't the only person on Joe Rogan to tell a classic story on the topic of food.
I went to this gas station the other day, and the manager or something comes out, and he's like, hey, man, I'm a fan, you know, and nice guy. And he's like, I just want to let you know we got fresh bread inside, fresh baked pizzas. We bake
At a
everything
gas
in-house.
station?
Right. Okay, so, right. That's my first thought. I'd just been inside, okay? There's nothing fresh in this joint, okay? Nothing in there is fresh. Nothing in there ever even knew an animal, right? Or a garden. 0% chance, bro. So now I have to pretend that I'm smelling like pie and shit when I go like So you just get in small town, you know, smaller city stuff like that.
He pulls out Pop-Tarts and pretends he just made them.
Yeah, totally. He's just doing all of this. Yeah. He's got
right out of the oven.
he's got Ratatouille on the speaker system in there. Yeah.
Then there was the time that Steve-O talked about his living situation.
Even though I rented 4 apartments in the building.
Why
was,
did you rent 4?
Because one was a skate park. One was a skate park.
Yet, as always seems to be the case, Theo Von backed this up with an equally wild story about his apartment.
And one time I was making a smoothie, you know, and I thought I heard something outside, right? Which is kind of weird to even think of when you have a blender going, right? So I leave out of my apartment to go in the hallway, lock myself out with the blender going. 2:30 in the morning, coked up out of my brain, right? Now I have to go to my landlord, dude, who lives right down the hall.
Oh, no.
And tell him like, hey, man.
2:30 in the morning. I got locked out.
I'm
And the
locked
blender's
out,
on,
and the blender's
son. Oh my God, he must have hated you.
Oh, the blender shorts out and smoke happens. The fire alarm starts going off in the building right as I'm at his door knocking, right?
Oh, my God.
So now he's pissed and he's like, what's going on? And I didn't know what to say. I told him that I was throwing a late Christmas party, dude. Into January.
How old were you at the time?
Huh? Oh, this is 2.5 years ago. So I was 35. Bro. So he comes back to my apartment, right? He unlocks the door. There's nobody in there.
Although there was nothing that perfected the combination between funny and epic, quite like Tim Dillon's rant about the future of humanity.
Nothing will ever be funnier. America will come apart in one of the funniest ways. You'll die laughing. Literally, you'll die, but you will be laughing. It will be the most absurd and insane thing. It will be out of a dystopian horror movie, and no, it won't be funnier than America, because we're a crazy country full of crazy people, and everybody's just trying to suck the last few dollars out of this bloated pig corpse of an empire before the end. And I'm no different. But make no mistake, I mean, if I'm wrong, and I'd love to be wrong, But if your attitude or your idea is that the population's going to get smarter, healthier, and more adept at problem solving, you're on crack.